What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Last Word. This is where we'll be doing a daily sports analysis and opinion on like the current topics that's going on in the sports world. We'll start with NFL and NBA, which are the two that I'm most familiar with, but I'd love to build up my college football, college basketball, and baseball resume. So we'll get into those things too. But as the NFL season has already started, I had some technical difficulties on Thursday, so I didn't get this video out for that one. But just a recap of that video, I had initially said that I thought the Rams would win the game because they have more situational football players than the Bills do. But I was obviously wrong about that one. The Bills completely demolished them from the very first quarter.
Did a great job.
Second and 5, Stafford back to the air with pressure.
You could tell the Bills are going to win because all of those turnovers
On this defensive line.
Stafford going quick again, a bad pass.
and it was just the Rams couldn't even score. Like it was apparent the Rams were having a hard time, and I think the Rams will continue to have a hard time, obviously, until Matthew Stafford involves Allen Robinson. I think that you can't keep on just trying to throw it to Cooper Kupp.
Stafford looking that way, throwing that,
and then like not have someone else there to get the benefit of him getting of Cooper Kupp getting all that attention. So I thought that the Rams would actually take it based on their defensive line and the fact that the Bills didn't have a good secondary. But I didn't consider the Rams' lack of an offensive line.
30-yard line, pressure up the middle. Stafford's looking the other side. Second and 9, Stafford, look out from behind.
And I don't know if anybody expected them to be as bad as they were on Thursday, but I didn't expect them to be that bad. But I thought that the Rams would win. But so I'm 0 for 1 on the season, to be honest. But this week I wanted to, as this is week 1, I want to do my predictions. So I'd like to start with the Bengals and the Steelers. I'm going to pick the Bengals in this one because the Steelers, I don't trust, and I'll make that, when I made this video on Thursday, I initially said that Marcus Mariota was the quarterback of the Steelers. It's Mitch Trubisky. Throughout the season, I might get those two mixed up sometimes, so bear with me. It's Mitch Trubisky is the quarterback of this Pittsburgh Steelers, and some people think that Mitch Trubisky is an upgrade over what Big Ben was last year. Not overall, obviously, not over Big Ben's whole career, but the Big Ben of last year. I don't care if it was Marcus Mariota. You see? I don't care if it was Mitch Trubisky in Peyton Manning's body. I don't think that the Steelers will take the game. I think the Bengals will take it. I told you. I don't think Trubisky can lead the Steelers in any way, shape, or form. But Mike Tomlin is such a great coach that he could coach up Trubisky to be something special. My thing, though, is that the Bengals, when you have a quarterback like Joe Burrow who can take a team to the Super Bowl with a very bad offensive line, you have a once-in-a-lifetime generational quarterback. And the Steelers would have to have I would think, to win this game in this moment, they would have to have a really top-flight defense and offensive game to do that. Maybe at some point in the season, if Tomlin can coach Trubisky up, that they'll get to that point, but I just don't see that for the first game. So I'm going Bengals. I think Joe Burrow got it. It's obviously the better quarterback. They revamped the offensive line. They already had a good enough offensive system to get to the Super Bowl, and I don't think they have I don't know if they're going to be able to contain Jamar Chase. So, I know he's going to look to come out and have a big game. So that's the first 1 o'clock game on Sunday. And the second is at the same time, actually, 1 o'clock, is the 49ers Bears. Most people have the 49ers winning this game. I would also go on that line. I played Madden with the 49ers this year. I'm a Giants fan, as you can obviously see. But I always play with the Giants. And I still play with the Giants this year. But I wanted to start with the 49ers because I like to have a team, and the Bills showed this on Thursday. I like to have a team that I could get pressure without having to blitz. So my front four is good enough to get pressure without me having to blitz. Then I play in Madden, I'll play in the secondary. So that's why I play with the 49ers, and that's one of the reasons I think the 49ers will win this game. The Bears don't have a solid offensive line. The 49ers have a really great defensive line, so they won't have to blitz to get pressure on Fields. This is his second year, so he still feels Justin Fields' second year. He still has to learn defensive coverage, learn how to spot the mic, call out the mic, and all those different things that he has to kind of learn. So I'm going to go with the 49ers. I think the Bears, they just have a long way to go. They need offensive weapons. They need a running back. They need a defensive end. They just need a lot. They need a tight end. They need everything. So I think the Bears, excuse me, have a long way to go this season. The 49ers, on the other hand, I think yes, it's Trey Lance's second season as well. Probably first season really starting to really be his team, and they kept Garoppolo, which is a bit surprising and a bit like, why keep him, right? Like, why keep him? But I think with their line, with their weapons on offense, though, because Trey Lance presents so much. If you scheme the game correctly, and mind you, you're paying the Bears, but it is a young quarterback, so you still have to scheme. If you scheme the game correctly, the 49ers can run, you incorporate those runs and then give Trey Lance the opportunity to throw a play action deep ball over your head, which would be better than Jimmy Garoppolo's deep ball that'd be over your head. He could do that from the 25 of his own 20, his own 25, and catch you damn near midfield most likely, because he got a big enough arm to do that. He just probably have to work on his accuracy based on the reports coming out of 49er camp. So I think Trey Lance will kind of show out. I'm picking the 49ers. Lions, Eagles. I like what the Lions did drafting Hutchinson in the first round on that defensive end on the line there. I like what they did, but I also like what the Eagles did in terms of everything that they did, the trades they made, the signings that they had. I do believe in Jalen Hurts. I can see from, if you got a deep arm, if you can be accurate on a deep ball, you can be accurate on a short pass. You can be accurate on a mid ball. You just have to work on it. And he has an arm. So as he learns to read defenses more, and then obviously the run game, like his ability to run the ball. And same thing for Trey Lance. It's all about scheming against the Bears. Like, once you scheme up against these Lions, quarterback runs, nice solid runs from the running back, you could open up the play action, you open up the defense, and you can try to neutralize Hutchinson. But the Lions don't have a great defense, don't have a great secondary. I just think the Eagles have too many offensive weapons, and they'll take care of the Lions, no problem. Patriots, Dolphins. So for this one, I've heard that the Patriots have lost like 7 of their last 9 games against Dolphins. It's some crazy number like that. I think they're like 2-7 against the Dolphins recently, even back to when Tom was there. So the Dolphins pose a major problem for the Patriots, who don't really have the firepower on offense to keep up with them. Now they have the defense, and maybe Bill Belichick will be able to stump two on a couple plays, but with Tariq, you're not going to be able to stump him every time. You're just flat out not going to be able to, because okay, if you double Tariq, like, there's going to be other plays to throw the ball through. There's going to be other things for Tua to do, and you are already losing to the Dolphins without Tariq. So with Tua as the quarterback, so I'm gonna go with. But I mean, I don't know. I like Mac Jones. I believe in Bill Belichick. I believe in his defense. I mean, I'm picking this live right in front of you. I don't even have okay, I've already decided. I think for this game, I like the Patriots a lot, but I think I'm gonna go with the Dolphins on this one. I have to see the Patriots prove it for sure, especially with their dual offensive coordinator situation. So we're moving on from that one. Browns Panthers, game of the year, probably, right? Like one of the biggest games of the year, first game. But it's really a lot of hype to me. I don't care about Baker Mayfield. I don't care about the Browns or the Panthers. I don't think either one of them are playoff teams this year. I don't think either one of them are going anywhere. And not to hate on I don't want your fan base to come for me. I don't have an issue with the teams. I would love for these teams to actually have. And look at my team is the Giants, so I'm. Let's be objective here. I'm going to be objective. I'm objective about my own team. You'll see. I don't have a problem with the Browns or the Panthers. I just think they don't have good teams right now. Christian McCaffrey, like even Sam Darnold last year looked really good when Christian McCaffrey was out there. Now, granted, Baker might not need Christian McCaffrey to look like Sam might have needed him to look good. Baker might not need him to look good. He's a bona fide number one pick. He could throw the ball. If Christian McCaffrey goes out, the Panthers could do what the Cowboys do, which is the short pass game as the run game because Zeke can't run that ball to save his life anymore. So you can do the short pass game as your run game if McCaffrey goes out, and I think Baker has enough talent to work with to operate like that. So I don't think he needs McCaffrey. They have a decent defense, and I forget who's the starting quarterback of the Browns. I think it's Jacoby Brissett. He's not. I don't see him as any type of threat. So I would say that I don't even want to pick a score for this game. I haven't picked scores for the others, but I think this will be a low-scoring game just off of the defenses kind of stymieing the quarterbacks a bit. And if it is kind of high scoring, it'll be some defensive touchdowns. So I'm going to pick the Panthers just because the Browns, they don't really have anything. They have a running game and a defense, which is actually which is the same exact thing that the Panthers have to a certain degree, but except that the Browns running game might be a little bit more reliable with two bona fide running backs as opposed to one on the Panthers. Now it's always going to be a game of possessions and down, so we'll see. But I think I'll go with the Browns. I think I'll go with the no. I mean, excuse me. I think I'll go with the Panthers. I said the Browns. I think I'll go with the Panthers. Um, Colts Texans. So these are all still 1 o'clock games. Colts Texans. This right here, boy. When the Colts got Matt Ryan, I was like, you guys aren't going anywhere. I'm not gonna lie. I don't believe in Matt Ryan at all. And the Texans are a just garbage franchise in general. So, in my opinion, but not to kill your fans, but like the Texans for years now, like come on, like Deshaun has been there. What do you have? Like Stills as your who was his wide receiver? Like, come on, you had him for a while now. You could have built something around him. I don't like either one of these teams, but if I had to choose, I would go with the Colts. They just have the more established roster. Uh, Next game, Saints Falcons. I'm actually from Brooklyn, New York, but I live out in Georgia now, so I guess I'm like the Falcons would be the home team. But I hate their team. I think Marcus Mariota is the quarterback of this team, though, isn't he? And Saints Falcons, Jameis versus Mariota. The Saints have the better defense, the better overall team structure, the better culture. The Falcons are floundering. They're trying to find themselves. They're getting ready for these next couple drafts when they're actually going to have to draft a quarterback. So I'm going to go with the Saints. This is an easy pick'em game. I'm going to go Saints here. They just have a better team overall. Ravens Jets next game. Of course, I'm going to pick the Ravens. The Jets are a dumpster fire. I don't even like. All right, so I'm a Giants and a Yankees fan. I don't hate or dislike the Mets and the Jets. They're just not my team from New York. And when I was younger, the Mets stood for like my entire team sucks. So they didn't. Even with the Mets are great now, but uh, for me personally, no, can't go with Mets. And can't go with Jets. So I'm gonna go Ravens. I don't know. I heard some rumor that it's like a conspiracy, really, that Lamar Jackson would hold out tonight, like the night before the game, and they would lose this first game against the Jets, and then he would re-sign, and they give him his big deal because they lost to the Jets. First of all, if Lamar Jackson doesn't play in this game, they're still not going to lose to the Jets. Joe Flacco is the Jets quarterback. No way, no way. Now, yes, the Jets did really, really well in this draft. So they have Sauce Gardner, and then I think they got that really great D lineman. So if they could stop you from scoring, then the game would be low scoring, but they won't be able to score. I mean, Joe Flacco and who's on offense. So I don't think the Jets put up much points. Even if by conspiracy comes true and Lamar doesn't play, I think the Ravens can outscore them. But if Lamar does play, which he most likely will, they'll blow the doors off these guys because of the rookie defensive lineman that they got. He's a rookie. He's not going to impose his will in the game. And, Lamar can flat out outrun any of these guys. So anyway, now, last 1 o'clock game is Jaguars Commanders. Two awful teams. I think the Jaguars will take it. The Commanders, I don't believe in them at all with Wentz. I think that signing Wentz was just a bad decision. They should have gone with the draft, drafted someone. Let's start this thing over. Let's build up our young defense with a young quarterback and build some young offensive pieces around our young quarterback. I think that's what the Commanders should have done. I think the Jaguars will beat them because they have the better championship level coach. They have a teacher as their coach. I think the quarterback is better at Trevor Lawrence. I saw some of his highlights last year. I didn't watch much of his games, but I saw his highlights and it was quite impressive. Quite impressive. Like his velocity on the ball is impressive. You could tell when like a guy like Daniel Jones doesn't have much velocity. And Trevor Lawrence has quite a bit of velocity on his. You could just see the difference. And then like his big neck, people love a big neck quarterback these days. Right? That big neck. So yeah, Jaguars, Commanders, Commanders, you know. So I'm going Jags. Okay, 425 games now. Packers, Vikings. So this is interesting. I saw Shannon Sharp pick the Vikings in this game. Now it's interesting. The Vikings got a lot better. You got to give them their credit. But they got better on deep. They went defensive this year, and when you already have certain pieces on offense and you up your defense, look at the Bills, look at Von Miller. Like it gets crazy, right? You can't stop us, and we're just in your backfield all day. So the Packers, it's interesting. The Packers have no wide receivers. And when I say that, I mean they have wide receivers, but we don't know who the hell they are. They're rookies. They're Randall Cobb and some rookies, right? Which means Aaron is going to need more time back there as they try to get separation. All right, so you can scheme quick throws. All right, scheme up some quick throws. Yes, scheme up some quick throws. You're gonna have to be dishing the ball around, throwing it to everybody. But most quarterbacks like at least some type of safety blanket. The safety blanket, I don't know who the tight end is, but I think the safety blanket for this team is gonna end up being the tight end for Aaron Rodgers. So he'll, if not the tight end, the running back as well, Aaron Jones. So I think it'll be a lot of Aaron Jones catching, a lot of Aaron Jones running, a lot of throwing it to the tight end, a lot of throwing it to Randall Cobb and trying to spot open receivers. But it's going to have to be a quick game if the Vikings defense is able to get some pressure in the backfield. It's going to have to be a quick game for Aaron Rodgers. So I think I'm not going to bet against Aaron Rodgers. I like him. I like his team. I just think that they don't have anyone. I think it's going to be very difficult for them to win when he relied so much on Adams last year. For this one, I really don't want to bet against Aaron Rodgers, but they lost the first game last season and went on a crazy run. I think he'll be willing to lose this first game too. I think Aaron Rodgers will do some nonsense, like what we would consider nonsense, like what he did last year, first game against the Saints, throwing some, nonsense picks, and then he'll go on a decent run. I think he likes that kind of media environment. So I think the Packers will lose this game and they'll go on to have a decent season. So I'm picking the Vikings. Next game, Giants, Titans. Seen some analytics that they're talking about I think one of the linemen on the Titans are out this game, so the Giants might have an advantage on the right edge to get after Tannehill. I think the Titans made a big mistake. I think actually the Steelers made a big mistake signing Pickett instead of Malik Willis for the long term. I think Malik Willis will end up being a better prospect, better talent. But I think our line I'm just gonna pick the Titans. I would love it for the Giants to win. Obviously, I'm rooting for the Giants to win. But even in our new system, I just don't see our offense doing that well. Daniel Jones can spread the ball around. We do have receivers. It's up to the scheme. It is up to the scheme. But I think the Titans are an established football team. They have a culture. They have a coach. This isn't their first year head coach coming into a brand new system. Everybody's figuring everything out together. This isn't that. What I will say is that in the NFL, there's an advantage for people that when you haven't seen it before, like when it's the first year of something, that team sometimes has an advantage, like because we just don't know exactly what they're going to come with. So, for instance, the 49ers with Trey Lance. We don't know how Trey Lance, like we saw a little bit, but we don't really know. So I just feel like for a couple games he can have an advantage. Last year, when Matthew Stafford went to the Rams, that's his first year on the Rams. Yeah, throughout the season you get accustomed to them, but I think this year, as you know, everything they did last year, people will be much more prepared for them this year. That first year, just like the Bucs the year before that, that first year when you don't even really know what they're going to be throwing at you, they can get you, especially with the Bucs the 2 years ago, because they started with Bruce Arians' system and ended with Tom. So how the hell are you going to prepare for that? You don't know what they're going to be running. Made it not easy, but it just kind of goes with that. When it's your first year and people don't necessarily know what to expect, you can get them. But not Zach Wilson, because he sucks point blank, period. First year, he wasn't fooling anyone, especially not Bill Belichick. So for this game, I think I'm just going to go with the Titans because they have the established culture. And I think Derrick Henry could just kind of cram it down our throats. Yeah, I'm going Titans. Sorry, that was a whole whirlwind to get to that, but yeah, I think the Titans are going to win that game. Next 425 game here is Raiders Chargers. Now, I think the Raiders are going to be, in my opinion, a little bit similar to the Rams in that they need someone else besides Adams. If they double Adams, okay, you got Waller, right? All right, you got a safety blanket. You got Waller, which is more than what the Rams had because the Rams don't even have a decent tight end. So maybe they won't be like the Rams. Maybe I'm wrong about that. They did upgrade significantly on the offensive side of the ball. I'm not sold on the Raiders. They're playing the Chargers. The Chargers, I'm also not sold on them because of the way that they coach and their culture and their play. I'm not sold. You really shouldn't have missed the playoffs last year. Justin Herbert should not have missed the playoffs point blank, period. So that kind of concerns me. I'll keep it short and sweet on this one. And this is just me just randomly picking. I gotta think. I mean, let me see. We're gonna go Chargers. We're gonna go Chargers. All right, Chargers it is. Next game, 425, Chiefs Cardinals. This game, I'm a huge Patrick Mahomes fan. I'm definitely going with the Chiefs. I just think they have a better culture, better team, better quarterback, better coach, better everything. But except, like, I think that the Cardinals will be able to put up points on them because the Chiefs' defense. I think the Chiefs' biggest weakness all these years has been their defense, and that's something that they haven't really addressed. And you lose Tyrann Mathieu. I think they need secondary help. I think they need a little help on the line because to me, you don't need to keep on upgrading the offense when you have a player like Patrick Mahomes. Yes, you do need to upgrade it. Don't to do him dirty, but you need to get him more possessions. The more possessions you get a guy like Patrick Mahomes, the more opportunities he has to put points on the board, the more opportunities he has to read the defense. So and figure things out. So I think if the Chiefs focus on building a stout defense around Patrick Mahomes, plus some offensive weapons, now Tariq is gone, you got Kelsey, so you got some really young receivers too who could end up being really great. You got Juju, like the weapons he has on offense already are great. With those weapons and Sky Moore and all that, his weapons are really good on offense. He needs defensive weapons that get him the ball back and make plays. Like that's what he needs. And that will make the Chiefs unstoppable. Even the Bills wouldn't be able to stop them. And the Bills haven't been able to stop them. But I think this year the Bills are going to have their number. It's just the Bills are going to have their number this year, in my opinion. But in this game specifically, I'm going to choose the Chiefs. I don't think that Kyler Murray will be able to. I think Kyler Murray will be able to move the ball on them. But at the end of the day, if it comes down to a last possession or whatever the case is, it could be a shootout. If it comes down to a last possession, I'm going to with the Chiefs. Okay, Sunday night game of the day, game of the night, game of the week, whatever it is. Bucks Cowboys, big game. GOAT, Tom Brady, that boy right there, boy. That boy could leave his team, come back, quit, retire, own a team, buy a team, shit. Like, and come back and say, listen, we about to go out here and try to win this championship. So Buck, it's crazy. Bucks Cowboys. I think with the lack of his offensive line, I believe that Brady will. And the stat that says that he was the least touched quarterback last year is huge, right? Everybody sees that, so they're going to be trying hard to get him on the ground, especially with this weak line. Now he's going to get sacked a lot, but the Cowboys make so many mistakes of their own, and they have such bad coaching and such a bad culture that I think that they'll give up some possessions to the Bucks. And granted, let me say this. In every pick that I've made today, it's always about like what we saw last year pretty much. And that's not really fair, right? Things have changed this year, and as the weeks go on, we'll start to form like real opinions and stuff like that about these teams based on how they played this year. Because obviously the Rams, like they went to the Super Bowl, but that first game was a dud. And so everything I'm saying here about the Bucks Cowboys is, based on last year. But I think I think the Cowboys, they just make a lot of mistakes. And Dak sometimes, look, he's already hurt. Like he's already making mistakes. Like he's already hurt from putting on his shoe. So that's not great. I don't think the Cowboys have enough offensive firepower to beat the Buccaneers. They don't have enough offensive firepower anymore. All those points they was putting up last year, that's because they had weapons galore. They had, I mean, not weapons galore, but they had at least a number one receiver. And imagine if you had two. Imagine if you consider CeeDee Lamb a number one receiver. He was getting a lot of the passes last year. So, like, CeeDee Lamb played the Odell Beckham role for the Los Angeles Rams. CD played that on the Cowboys. Amari gets most of the attention, but I'm able to catch a shit ton of passes because of that. And I'm getting a lot better. So without, I don't know who that person is going to be in this situation. Is there somebody that's going to be able to take a lot of passes because CD is being covered so much? But I think that the Buccaneers are going to have such a great defensive scheme that with the lack of offensive weapons for the Cowboys, that they're not going to score that many points unless their defense ups it and scores. They could pressure Tom with Micah Parsons, excuse me. They could pressure Tom with Micah Parsons, or they could, Diggs could gamble and get a few, but don't gamble with Tom. Tom will make you pay for that. So I'm going Bucks. I'm going Bucks. I don't think the Cowboys are winning that game. And then finally, the Monday night game, which is really, I guess, the game of the week. I don't know why they made this a Monday night game. Is Broncos Seahawks. Just jokes. That's a big joke right there. I saw somebody from the Seahawks say, "Oh, when you don't have nothing to lose, like you like play harder or whatever." Like, no, you guys just suck. Like, you guys are just going to suck. Like, who if I was to play against the Seahawks in Madden, even if they were playing man defense or in real life, whatever, if you're playing man defense, like who do you have that's a shutdown in the secondary? Who do you have that's a shutdown as a lineman on the defensive line? Like that's gonna force his way and force things for. How are you gonna make it difficult for Mr. Unlimited? Russell Wilson. How exactly the Seahawks planning on making it difficult for him? That's my question. So I'm going with the Broncos. They have the weapons. They have the offensive weapons. They have defensive weapons. The Seahawks don't have a quarterback. They don't have a running game. They don't have an offensive line. They don't have anything. So I don't understand how anybody could even make this the Monday game, first of all. But I guess it's just because of the hype, just like the Baker game. So Broncos take that one. Easy dub. No questions asked. And that is the week one picks right there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 games. Well, 15 if you discount the Rams one. 15 games tomorrow. 14 games tomorrow, one on Monday. Great weekend. Great life. But thanks for tuning in today, guys. We'll see you tomorrow after the games. We'll start to break down maybe some of the ones a little early on, but see you guys tomorrow.